Hey all, thanks for joining again. Another day, another video. Today I'm going to be going through some PowerShell basics again. This is my second time recording this video. I just got a new mic and it sits on my desk, and the audio quality was really bad. So I already typed up all this code, and um, while I was typing, you actually got a lot of feedback on the mic, like a loud thumping noise. So I'm kind of just going to talk through these since I already typed it up, and hopefully, still be beneficial and you'll learn something from it. So the first one I'll talk about is a for each. Again, sorry. This video is about iterations. So iterations, sometimes you'll have objects that are returned as a collection. So for instance, if you do, let's see here, child item. So you can see here a collection of objects were returned. So basically we're going to do that here, assign it to items, and then act off of that collection. So you can define that with for each here, and then it's basically going to say for each item in items, we're declaring a new variable. So the current item will be assigned over to item, and then we can access it and use it inside our curly brackets here. So then we use a condition statement. I have previous videos if you want to check those out and learn a little bit about those. But basically we're saying if this is true, so if it's a container, and this is automatically assigned in the object if it is a directory or a container object. So if it's a container, it's just going to write the name of the object, the full name, and whether it's a directory or a file. So we'll run that here and kind of just look at the output. Scroll up here to see where it's going to output that. These are my other examples. We'll get to those in a second. So you can see here, it looped through each one of them, determined if it was a container based off of the property ps is container, and then just wrote out the information to the screen using right host. So that's a for each. It's probably the most common one that I use. I use it regularly on pretty much any script or module that I would have to use in PowerShell. The next one is for. So this one's going to execute as long as a condition is true. So basically what we define here is a variable I for usually an index. We assign it a value of 0, so we're going to start at 0. And then we're going to execute while, so this is where the condition true comes in, while I is less than, so tac lt is less than in PowerShell, 5. So we're going to start at 0, loop through while we're less than 5, and then on each loop we're going to increase the value of I by 1. So this is shorthand for I equals I plus 1. So I plus plus is just basically reassigning a value of I with a increased value of 1. So each time we loop through, it'll increase the value of I by 1. And then we're just going to right host the value of I on each loop. So you can see here in the output, don't have to run it again because we already did it. It just looped through all of them and started at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we became 5, so we didn't execute the for loop anymore. We just moved on to the next piece of code. Right here I had an example of doing a for statement based off an array count or an object count. So we're using items up here again, and we had four items that were returned, 2 folders, 2 files. So we're going to loop through those, again assign a value of I to 0 to start. So with arrays, you can access them with an index using this syntax here. So we're basically saying items, bracket, then an index number, and then bracket. So we're going to start at 0. So the first item in an array starts at 0. So we'll go 0, 1, 2, 3 would be our last item. That would be the 4th item in the array, but again, we start at 0. And the same scenario here, we're going to increase the value of I on each loop. So this is basically allowing us to access each item on an index value and then output the values. So we put the count here, so we know we have 4 items, and and then we went ahead and output the full name based off of the indexer that we accessed with I. So that's a for loop. Again, you can execute, anything in here based off of the iteration. The next one's a while loop. This one was just basically recreating the for loop using a while loop. So the way that while loops work is they execute while the statement is true, and as soon as it becomes false, it breaks out and then continues the code below. So if we just wrote the value true here, it would basically increase the value of I continuously, and we would never break out because it's hard coding true. You may want to do that. I've seen this done. It's usually not done, but in some programs, if you just want it to run in the background or you want it to continuously run, I've seen this done a lot. Don't really recommend it, but there's other ways to make programs run indefinitely without doing this. But this is one way that you can keep a program running if you're wanting to. But we'll just change it back. We'll look at our output here. You can see we assigned I the value of 0, and then we're going to execute while I is less than 5, same as our for loop up here. And we're going to output the value of I and then increase it down here. And you can see here it just looped through and did the same output as before with the for statement. So those are the 3 iteration statements that I was going to go over today. Thanks for watching. If you like the content, please like the video. If you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and subscribe to me. I'm going to be doing other programming languages in the future. Sticking with PowerShell now. I'll probably get through the basics, maybe switch off to something else in the next couple days. Yeah, hope you enjoyed. Also, I'm going to add this code and all my code that I'm doing on this channel to GitHub. You can find me on GitHub. The link is going to be in the description. Thanks for joining.